What's going on, guys? Back with yet another one. Today we're going to be swapping out the exhaust on my 2022 Corolla Hatchback. If you see my last video, I had done the 2J Racing catback exhaust, but as I'd mentioned in it, I was not a real big fan of the exhaust tips poking out the rear quite as much as they did, and I was talking about maybe swapping those out for something aftermarket, but I figured before I did all of that, I would try out another setup here. I'm going to be doing the DC Sports catback exhaust. As you can see here, pretty nice setup here. Nice polished mandrel bent tubing. Got the polished tips, 3-inch tips on this one. Welds look nice, good quality welds. Comes with a hardware kit. This is actually a clamp-on style, slip fit clamp-on style exhaust system, whereas the 2J was 2-bolt flanges. So, but the one thing I'll mention on this, actually there's a couple of nice little features on this exhaust system, and this is why I went with it. One, it utilizes the factory style spring bolt and donut gasket, and on the center pipe here it's got the donut flange, which is OEM, OEM style. That's what they use on the OEM exhaust, which and in my opinion is a nice little feature. It gives the exhaust a little bit of a flexible area to pivot when the engine is under load or when you're accelerating and whatnot. The engine will kind of move forward and backward, and this allows it to have a little area where it can flex, maybe decrease the added stress on certain components. So, but yeah, real nice. Hopefully, if I get the sound that I'm looking for, actually, I'm more concerned about the fitment than the sound. I'm sure it'll probably sound pretty decent, but you'll notice here, and this is something I mentioned in my last video. This exhaust, and this is another reason why I chose this exhaust, is because of the tip angle on this. As you can see, not only is it offset, but they're angle cut. So this should mimic the body line or the bumper line on the rear section here. So hopefully it won't get that poke that I'm getting right now. As you can see, this is what I'm referring to. But you'll see, because that exhaust is kind of tapered and the tips are offset, it should, not only should it not stick out quite as far, but it should also kind of run with the curve of the bumper or the diffuser. Even if you didn't have the diffuser on it, this bumper still kind of curves a little bit. So it should mimic that nicely. And but yeah, that's pretty much my whole issue with this exhaust. The 2J Racing exhaust, it's a nice quality exhaust, like the components and everything like that they use is all stainless steel, mandrel bent, nice welds, all that's quality. But just for me, that exhaust tip fitment is just terrible. So I'm hoping this new setup will do the trick. So stay with me. I'm going to swap this out, and we'll do a little after install shoot and some sound clips. So hang out with me. All right, so here it is, the DC Sports catback exhaust, all nicely fitted up on the hatchback. Should be able to notice now that there's not quite as much poke on the exhaust tips. Of course, you're going to have a little bit sticking out there, but that's to be expected since there's a bit of a curvature in the rear bumper. But in my opinion, this is a much more uniformed fit and finish. I think I got it right this time, at least for me. That's just my opinion. I just wanted something a little bit more cleaner looking. That, to me, having the exhaust tip sticking out like that wasn't really something I was too keen on. I wanted something a little bit more OEM looking, a little bit more subtle. Honestly, if this didn't have the DC Sports logo etched on the exhaust tips, I'd swear this was like an OEM exhaust. Now that I'm looking at it, I actually like the 3-inch round tips better than the 4-inch tips that were on the 2J. Again, this is all just subtleness here. I just like it a little bit more low profile and not quite as loud and bold, and just, you know, overall this to me is just a nice, nicer, cleaner look. As far as the adjustability and installation, I found it to be a little bit easier. Just because of the slip fit design, I was able to kind of level things out a little bit, you know, up and down, get the exhaust tips leveled inside the diffuser. And also because of that slip fit design, I was able to move the center sections in and out a little bit to allow for that more flushed appearance. If you're looking to try and get your exhaust to stick out a little bit more and be a little bit more pronounced, you can actually do that as well just by drawing the muffler section out a little bit. So, you know, that's a nice little feature. It gives you a little bit more adjustability, and you can kind of get it dialed in the way that you like. So, but yeah, overall, nice fit, nice finish. The sound, as you're going to hear in a minute, a little bit more milder than the 2J. It's still got a nice little note to it, but not quite as pronounced as the 2J. But still, again, you know, there's something there. So, but yeah, good exhaust. I would definitely recommend this if you're looking to go for an OEM look or more of an OEM look, something a little bit cleaner, and again, not quite as bold and pronounced here. But anyway, let's get into the sound clips here. We'll do a little startup and then a little takeoff. So stay with me.
Mm-hmm.